Pressure can be a wonderful thing, especially as an artist. It pushes you to do wonderful things, sometimes especially when you are on a bit of a stalemate and you don't know exactly what to do. When you are put under pressure, sometimes the best work comes out of you as an artist and you end up producing the best work. However, today I want to talk to you guys on how to actually manage pressure and stop putting so much pressure on yourself, because it can be detrimental to your animation career, it can be detrimental to your artist career overall, and it has happened to me many times that I almost crumbled under pressure, and that was because I was putting too much emphasis on things that were not important. So, welcome to another episode, let's get to it. Alright, so welcome guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video. I hope you guys had a good week. So before we get started, I wanted to actually tell you guys that there's a few things happening behind the scenes and I'd like to take you guys with me as much as possible. First, I have a Discord server that has been around for a while, but now I'm really making it a mission that this Discord server is going to be the best Discord server for all animators out there. So if you guys are interested, if you guys are into Discord, then feel free to click the link down below and join me. Lots of different chatters happening at this point in time, and I hope you guys can come over and help me make it the best Discord server possible. Now, second thing is I'm going to start reviewing your work for free here in this channel. Now, how do we go about that? I'm going to start a new section, 10 minutes of reviewing your work. Doesn't matter whose work it is and what level you are. Make sure to actually submit your work in my Discord channel so we can start reviewing things here in the channel. Now, it's going to be limited to one video, but hopefully it's going to give you a little example, a little glimpse on what it is like to actually attend my workshops, my personal workshops, where I give you tips and tricks one-on-one, and that have been going for a while. So if you're interested, head over to my Discord. Now let's get to it. I have been in the games industry for 18 years or so now. Between QA and animation, I have seen quite a lot of it, and different projects mean different challenges. Now, depending on the project, you can have more pressure or less pressure, but the pressure that I put myself into sometimes can be crippling. And the reason why is because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, even though I hate that word, perfectionist. There's no such thing as perfection, but I'm a bit of a person that likes to actually achieve the utmost quality in whatever they do, right? I think every artist should actually kind of like see themselves that way, because this is how you can actually excel at being an artist. Now, this can be really crippling, especially if you're starting just now in your animation career, because you don't really have a feel for what the industry is going to give you or what the industry is about. So normally, most people that start in the games industry start with this bravado attitude of like, I can take it all, I can do it all. And if they ask me to stay here for 3 days straight animating, no sleep, I'll do it because this is what it takes. Now, this attitude might be okay for you in the beginning, but it's not sustainable, right? So this is when the pressure starts becoming too much. There is also the pressure of actually not being paid well enough, not being treated well enough, amongst other things that can actually kind of like make things worse. If you are unlucky, like I was on my first experience in the games industry, and you find all of these in the same company, it can be really crippling and it can be disillusional for you, especially if you're starting in the games industry with lots of like love and feeling like this is going to be you for the rest of your career. It might make you or break you. And to me, I feel like it made me the person that I am, so I see it as a positive, even though it was a negative when it happened. But actually, thinking back, I think I can reflect to it and share my knowledge with you guys about some of the stuff that actually made me the person that I am right now, and things that you should avoid as you go through your journey. Now, the symptoms that I normally get because of all of this pressure is normally thinking really hard about everything that I need to do. And then the more I think about it, the more my mind gets tired of thinking about it, and the less I want to do the things that I need to do. Now, I feel like just having a nap at this point because I'm so exhausted of thinking, overthinking, and just being overwhelmed with the feelings of the things that I have to do. Then I cannot sleep properly because this is not happening well, things are not going my way, things are becoming overwhelming. And the sleep quality is not great, therefore next morning I wake up groggy and feeling weird and feeling down, feeling moody, and I don't feel like animating anymore, right? So this is the cycle that I normally find myself into, and it can be quite toxic, and I hope some of you out there can relate to this, because if it is that way, then let me tell you about 3 things that I normally do to actually get me out of this cycle. Now this one, the first one, can be a little bit morbid, but it helps a ton when you get your mind around it. Now there's the saying memento mori. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but it means remember that you have to die. See, kinda creepy, but let me tell you more about it. Having a sense in your mind that life is limited, right? That there's only so many things that you can do, allows you to then distill things that are important and not important, right? If you think that everything is important, you become overwhelmed. And because everything is important, then you don't know exactly what to pick of what is important and what is not, right? Now, thinking about the fact that you have a limited amount of time in this earth and eventually you're going to pass away, makes you really think hard about the things that matter and the things that don't matter. And that is an amazing, amazing power. Feels like a superpower in a way, right? So what you do as a result is that you start valuing the things that bring you joy and you start discarding the things that bring you pain. So if you are in a situation that actually lasts a long time, that brings you a lot of pain, such as you're working in an environment that is stressful all the time, your boss perhaps is not the best boss, he doesn't let go, perhaps there's no satisfying him or her, right? And you just find yourself in this circle that you're never truly happy, and even when you go back home, you're still thinking about the work or whatever task you have, and there's no way for you to kind of like come out of it in any specific way. They know that there is a better job out there for you, right? Having that feeling that there is always an exit, that there's always a plan B, makes your mind calm again. It makes me feel better, and it will make you feel better as well. The problem always arises when you feel cornered and there's nowhere for you to go. So having this feeling or this thought about this memento mori, about one day you will die. So if one day you will die, this situation that you are right now, as in you feel cornered, all of a sudden doesn't feel so ultimate anymore. All of a sudden it feels like, wait a second, this is just a job, right? I'm here because I want to be here. So what happens if I don't want to be here? All of a sudden you start thinking about it in different terms. Perhaps I don't have so much time. Perhaps I've been here for a long time, and I want to move on and I want to see something else, right? Perhaps I've been here for a very short period of time, but I don't see myself fitting in. Remember, when somebody employs you, it's both ways, right? It's all about the employee and the employer, right? So unless you are a match and you feel like you connect with each other, then there's no point on trying to fit in whenever you don't, right? Having said that, make sure that you spend your time and actually make an effort to fit in, right? Don't actually start a job and then think straight away, 2 days in, this is not for me, I'm bouncing, right? You need to make an effort, allow it to sip in a year, 2 years. If it really doesn't feel right, then find something else that makes you happy, right? Life is limited, you're only here for a little bit, so make it count. Now, the second point and the second tip that I can give you is choosing your battles. And by that, I mean, we are all passionate beings, especially being artists. I know I am. And I want to do so many things in life. And I'm actually passionate about all the things that I want to do in equal amounts, right? I mean, so many things that I'll be like, oh my God, I think I would have been great at this and that and this and that. So many things in my mind. However, once again, there's a limited amount of time that you're here. So choosing your battles and choosing what you actually want to actually dedicate most of your time helps you a ton to then focus, be laser focused on one thing. So if that thing is animation, it means that anything else that is not animation needs to actually take a step back. It doesn't mean that you have to let it go, right? They can become hobbies, and you can become really passionate and really dedicate a lot of time to your hobbies, but the main amount of time, the most amount of time that you have, you need to dedicate it to your main thing, animation in this case, for me, hopefully for you too. So choosing your battles, very, very important. This also applies to smaller stuff, right? If you have a bunch of tasks that you have to do, right? And for example, your lead, your supervisor doesn't really give you a priority, then it's up to you to choose your battles and find which ones are more difficult, tackle those first, and then leave the ones that are slightly easier for later, right? So keep on thinking that way. Choose your battles, choose them wisely, and then it's gonna kind of feel for other people that you have this way of actually just working things out. But what you're really doing is choosing your battles and finding a way to actually kind of like make sure that you get the most out of the time that you have, right? Now, last point, and hopefully it's gonna help you as much as the previous two, is forgetting about the fact that you have a life's purpose. This sounds a little bit controversial, but the idea that anybody was born into this world with one thing that they have to do, and this thing is the thing they need to do, can sometimes hinder your progress. And the reason why is this: if you actually are convinced in your mind that one thing is the one thing that you're gonna do, right? That one thing is gonna be the thing that you pursue, and you're like 10 years old, 15 years old, and that thing is the thing that you do, it means that for the rest of your life, potentially, you are going to pursue this thing and you're gonna try to fit in that thing in your life. However, life changes and changes all the time, right? So the person that you are at 15 is not the person that you are when you're going to be 25, 35, 45, right? Life is going to throw different things at you. You have to be malleable, and it might mean that the thing that you thought that your life's purpose was at 15 might not be the thing that you actually are doing, or the thing that you're passionate about, or the thing that you want to do by the time you're 25. Right? So forgetting this idea that you have a life's purpose allows you to be malleable with life, because I know of people that have changed their careers multiple times throughout their lives because they have this idea that I will do what feels good to me now, right? Now I've learned all these things, I have all this baggage that I've gathered until I was 25, I feel like I'm ready to do this. So they go ahead and do that and try it, right? And maybe that's where their passion lies, right? Maybe they try it for 5-10 years. Then at that point, maybe they want to change it to something else, right? You kind of have to adapt with life as life throws things at you, right? The baggage that you have is very useful. So make the most out of the baggage that you have, and then be malleable with it, and forget about this setting things in stone at an early age and then pursuing for the rest of your life, right? It works for some people. For most people, you kind of have to adapt as you go. And that's all I had for you guys. I hope that was useful. As always, thanks very much for everybody that supports me on Patreon. Make sure you head over to Patreon if you haven't so far. Quick reminder that if you're not subscribed and if you like this content and it was useful to you, subscribe, hit the like button please, because it helps me a ton, and hit the bell button so you are reminded when more videos like this come along. Also, I have a workshop, an animation workshop that I teach one-on-one while I teach you animation, and hopefully help you in your journey, in your animation journey, to make things slightly easier, better, faster as you pursue your career. That's all I had for you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and until then, stay well, stay safe, peace.